And konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 171 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. So last night I got around to watching the Ninninger epilogue film, which, by the way, has the most ridiculously long title that I've seen in a film for some time. The official title of this film is Come Back Shuriken Sentai Ninja Ninning Girls vs. Boys Final Wars. Because you need a title that long. Uh, I don't know why it just can't be, Ninja Returns, or something simple like Ninja Epilogue Film. It's insanely long. Japanese films do this a lot of times. I don't understand why. Living among them, this is something I can't figure out. But whatever, that's beside the point. The film, honestly, is which is really the same way I feel about Ninja as a series overall. Again, frankly, Ninja is just kind of there. It really wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just there. Again, that's why I related to Ghost Sager. It was just kind of there. And frankly, I'd say about 15, 20 years, this may be one of those forgettable Sentai, and that there was nothing particularly significant about it. But whatever, we're here to go ahead and talk about the film. And honestly, the film is disposable in the sense that it really doesn't have much significance following the final episode. Because look at the final episode and what happened in that series is that it's the end of the world, our team comes together, stops evil, the world is saved, and they all go on their separate paths. Okay? That's a pretty good finale. This film, picks up with them a couple years later, and the plot of which is so small and feels so insignificant that what actually is important and what's going on doesn't really feel that significant. It's a very odd feeling. It feels like a completely disposable film that really, if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't have known anything significant or learned anything particularly interesting about Ninja that the series didn't already cover. Yes, there's a new character that's introduced, but we'll talk about her. Yes, there's a return of a few characters. There's a plot to take over the world. But actually, the plot to take over the world is the secondary plot compared to the primary plot. So here's what I want to do with you guys today. I'm going to talk to you guys about the epilogue film, what happens in, just give you a general plot, and talk about three significant things about the film that bothers me. Because I'm not really going to do a deep analysis into this film because I don't think there is much to have. Yes, there's a story behind it and there's a moral lesson into it, but this certainly feels like an episode of the show and not a particularly good one. I do believe what they were attempting to do, if you stretched out for another hour, you might have made it work. And actually, this film is less than an hour. It's a straight-to-DVD feature, but the runtime is like 56 minutes. So it's significantly shorter than you would expect from a film that's trying to get an idea of what they're trying to go ahead and do. So let me review the film. Let me tell you exactly what happens in the film, what the overall story is, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the particular points. So, basically, 2 years after the events of the final, which I find odd because that means the film is set in 2017. I don't know why they just couldn't say a year afterwards and said in contemporary now or 6 months after, because that's when the DVD comes out, 6 months after the end of the series, but whatever. It's 2 years after the events, and all the Rangers, they come back to Japan to find out that Takaharu and Fuka's mother has returned. I didn't know she went anywhere. And we'll talk about her more in detail. But what's significant here is that the mother, and I'm just going to call her the mother because you guys know how I am with Japanese names. The mother has turned Fuka and Katsumi into an idol group. Yes, that is the plot of our film, that the long-lost mother of the Igasaki clan has returned and turned her daughter and her niece into a pop band or an idol group. I don't know what the official term is. To gain national exposure, to make money, to be popular, to be whatever. And the guys are kind of jealous about this in a way, and the mother doesn't want the guys to be ninjas to hurt the brand. It's actually a really confusing thing going on here, but what ultimately ends up is that the reason for the title, The Final Wars, is where our male members of the group fight against the female members of the group in a contest to see who is the stronger of the two groups. Which, the way we get there is a little convoluted because, again, the mother's basically like, well, we've trademarked all this ninja stuff, you guys can't use it, and we can't have you in the group because you're not girls, so why don't you have a battle with the girls, and whoever wins gets to keep the Ninja moniker, or something like that. Yeah, it's really kind of stupid. And during this, the villains have returned from the dead somehow. The mother of the bad guy and the son that they killed, and frankly, I don't even care about their names anymore. They're really such a minor part of this film. But they come back, and the team has to unite together, learn a lesson, and defeat evil once and for all. So again, I know I'm sounding facetious and sarcastic about it, but it really just it's not all that interesting. And there are three main things, as I said at the beginning, that kind of bother me about this film that I want to go ahead and address. So I'm going to go to the most minor and work our way up to the more meatier topics, if you will. First of all, do you guys remember when Raptor and I talked about the most powerful Ranger teams ever? It was my belief at that time that the most powerful Ranger teams were the Magi Ranger. Simply because they had the magical power, they could change themselves into robots, they can summon, anything, they can turn brooms into flying motorcycles, they can do all this amazing stuff. And I always felt that magical teams were innately more powerful than, Earth technology, over technology, wild beasts, so forth. Well, Ninja definitely falls into the category of magic, and it seems to me that this movie encompasses something that I felt was really wrong with the series while watching it, but I couldn't articulate it when I really talked about the series, but this movie really kind of encapsulates the problem here, and that's the idea of power creep. Now, let me kind of explain what I mean by that. If anybody followed Superman from the Golden Age up until the Silver Age, you'll notice some significant differences with Superman. Because believe it or not, when he started out in Action Comics #1, he couldn't fly. He could only jump really high. That's where the, leap tall buildings in a single bound thing comes from. And he was more powerful than a locomotive and faster than a speeding bullet. That was his power set. But as time went along, after the World War, once we got into the Silver Age and all that, Superman suddenly had the ability to fly through space, fly faster than the speed of light, blow out entire suns with of his breath, and he could fly. And that was kind of a big problem, I think, for a lot of fans with Superman. Is he just became insanely powerful. He became too powerful because every day he was coming up with new powers. Heck, he was in a movie where he was able to rebuild the Great Wall of China just by looking at it. You see what I'm saying? He's just, new powers are coming all the time and more and more powerful. And I'm getting the same thing about Ninninger, is that they are just too damn powerful that they keep pulling these powers, out of their ass. Let me tell you guys what I mean. Let me give you an example from the series, and then let me give you an example from the movie. So early on, they introduce one of their Ning discs, that has the power of gold, fire, water, etc., and all that. And of course, when you start out, if you use the fire power, your sword can go ahead and shoot fire. Okay, that's pretty simple. That kind of makes sense. And along the way, they would start doing things like, combine my fire with your fire, or let's combine the water and the fire and shoot them off together. I mean, there was an episode where King Ninja was able to take the fire and the water part, mix them, which I believe is the term that they used, and suddenly his enemies were in a hot bathhouse as a distraction. He was able to conjure an illusion of a bathhouse by using his fire and water power at the same time. And eventually, it's got to the point where they were using all these powers to combine with lightning and combine with fire and all this crazy crap. And it culminates in this film, where Cloud is able to use his water ability combined with his magic, because remember, he also knows magic outside of the ninja powers, to create a water snake serpent thing to attack Katsumi. Yes, he's able to create a water snake. And the girls, using their Ninninger powers, which this sounds stupid, but this is something that happened in the film. The girls are able to use their Ninja powers to turn themselves into anime characters to attack the enemy and destroy them when they are giant. I kid you not. They turn into anime girls and destroy a giant-sized monster without the help of Zords. So you see what I'm saying about power creep is like, in the first episode, they were throwing shurikens and, ding, ding, ding with swords and all that kind of stuff. And now, in their last appearance, before any other crossovers or anything like that happens, they have the ability to turn themselves into cartoon characters and destroy giants. Now, yes, there is a natural evolution of power as we go out through the series, but the problem I have is that with every other series that we have, the powers are well defined and they do have their limits, and they can only be upgraded so much. Let's take Go-Go 5 Lightspeed Rescue as an example here. Their power set is only going to be based on what Lightspeed can actually build for them. Only they're defined by their tech, essentially. It's not like Carter Grayson comes back 20 years later after being the Red Ranger, and suddenly he can shoot fire out of his eyeballs because he's mastered his Lightspeed Rescue powers. No, it's based on the technology and only gets so powerful. Now, of course, that's an example with technology and everything, but let's take a look at a mystical source. Let's take Zyuranger, original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. For all you want to do with the Zords and the weapons and the metallic armor and everything else, the fact is, it's a finite source of power, and it's based in the power coin. If the power coin says you can only jump so high or you're only this strong, that's as strong you're going to go ahead and get. You can augment with technology, but you're not going to find our Black Ranger going faster than the speed of light because he's been able to master the powers of the power coin. And yes, the Zeo Crystal is a perpetual energy source, which gets more powerful over time. I get that. But what I'm trying to relate here in Ninninger is it seems every episode, and as time goes by, they just get insanely powerful and do too much crap. I mean, go to the Wikipedia page. Try to follow along with all these powers and all these different attacks that they have. They're too powerful. There's too much that they have at their disposal. One of the things I kind of enjoy about the older Sentai, now that I've been watching Live Man, I watched Jetman, is again, they had well-defined parameters, they only had so many weapons, and they only had so many different attacks they can do. There was a limit of what they can do, and if they couldn't do it, they couldn't do it. Because what does a person have to do? When you're stuck in a corner, you have to think your way out, talk your way out, or fight your way out. And I don't believe the fourth option of pulling something out of your ass is an actual option that you can go ahead and use. And to me, that's what the Ninja are doing, is when they find themselves in a situation, all they gotta do is come up with a new power that they just thought of by mixing it, or, come up with some ability that we've never seen before to get them out of the situation. And nowhere is that better exemplified than in this film, that they're just way too powerful. Okay. The second thing I have is the character of Luna. Now, Luna, as you know, is the green ninja that's introduced in the film. Now, honestly, when you actually watch the film, you get an idea that she's supposed to be important from the marketing material, because the DVD or the Blu-ray comes with the green shuriken. She's featured on the cover. We've seen her in the promotional material, and they did interviews with her on the YouTube page. So you think she's going to go ahead and be important? Nope. She just appears in the film and really doesn't do much in it. Now here's the thing that kind of bothers me about it. Because if they want to introduce a new throwaway ranger for the film, that's fine. More rangers, more ranger keys for future releases, because I guarantee you they will make her into a ranger key. You'll see soon enough. Uh, but what's really going on is that Killman, who you'll recall died in the final, and was given the green shuriken, has possessed this girl's body. The girl, as far as the film indicates, the girl's name is Luna. She's a real girl, and she's being possessed by our ex-villain, who, as part of his repayment to the Ninninger, is to basically take over this girl, become a ninja, and help him defeat the mother and the villainous son, or who his half brother, basically. So here's what kind of bugs me about her is that, again, it's indicated the Kumon is basically possessing her throughout the entire film, which means we don't get to know Luna as a character. Luna is simply a vessel used by a previous villain. So when we see her in the film, she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm a little girl, and don't bother me," and stuff like that, and then she goes out and fight. But again, it's really our villain pretending to be her. So who is Luna? What is her character? It indicates that she was scouted by the mother to be in the Ninning Girls group, and then she was chosen, and Kumon possessed her. Now, whether he possessed her before this or after this, it is rather curious. What's also interesting is that it is well established within the series that you have to have ninjality to be a ninja. So the question is, does Luna have ninja powers? Or is this Kumon spirit who's invading her that's given her these ninja abilities? Is she a natural ninja like the others, or are her powers completely superficial? And why this bothers me is that if you wanted to bring Kumon back in to repay his debt, to be a hero, to help out with the team and so forth, then why not give him a physical manifestation? Why does he have to basically have spirit possession over another character? Because what this does is a detriment to the character of Luna, in that she has no character, that she's used this entire time, and we don't get to learn who she is. When Kumon leaves her body, the only line of dialogue she has is, "Huh?" Does she know what was happening the entire time? Did she know she was possessed? Was she okay with it? Does she feel violated? There are a number of things that you can go ahead and address with this character, but that's never stated. And then what's also bothersome is that we're going to talk about, eventually we're going to get Ninninger versus Zyuohger, and when we do, the 40th anniversary special, the 45th, the 50th anniversary, wherever it's going to be, is she going to come back as a character? Is Luna going to go ahead and come back? Or is Kumon going to find another host to come back in to become this Green Ranger? And actually, the question also comes into mind about just why. Because, okay, here's the thing. So Kumon, when the series first came out, we believed that Kumon was a girl, because voiced by a girl, kind of feminine mannerisms, and, well, it seems like a girl. But it turns out that she's really a man, because the pronouns are for he, and turns out he was a he before he became monstrous form, whatever. But is voiced by a woman. And this film actually shows that, where she is, Luna, the actress, is speaking in, I guess, what would be her normal voice, and the voice she used for Kumon during the series to make some sort of gender swap joke, I think. It's really confusing. I don't know why this character was male to begin with, to be given a female voice, and then in the epilogue film, to be physically embodied by a female with a male's spirit. It just... I know I'm making this point a little too long, but the point is, we don't get to know Luna as a character, and I'm wondering, is she going to come back in future installments? Is she going to be the Green Ranger, or are we going to get another Ranger altogether, or is this the only film she's going to be in? Because I would find it odd that we would get future films where the Ninja are available, and of course, there is no Green Ranger. I mean, why do we have to focus on the 6 Rangers when we have a whole pantheon of Rangers? It would be like doing Killjoy and only having the 6 main Rangers and the other 4 Rangers being his backup. Oh, wait. Never mind. Anyway, so I think I've talked about Luna, but I'd like to get my idea out there. Or I'd like to think I got it out there. Oh, and just one more thing about the new powers. Something that does kind of bother me as well about the too powerful. You do realize that when they introduced the Kaku Ranger and Hurricane Ranger shurikens during the series, it was really just to copy some of the powers that they have as additional arsenal. Well, when I talk about power creep, now Fuka has the ability to create clones of herself as Hurricane Blue and Ninja White. So again, becoming far more powerful than we really need for this series. Okay, so let's get to what I feel is the important part here, and that is Takaharu and Fuka's mother, who again I'm just going to refer to as the mother. Now, the implication in the series was that she was dead. The way that the father basically talked about her, how he kind of longed for her and reminisced fondly, and the way that Takaharu and Fuka talk about it was never a discussion of mom's gone, mom's coming back, or anything like that. It's kind of like two people whose mother has passed on, and they've accepted that on some level. That's what I always got from this series, why there was a mother. Because apparently it's too expensive to have two parents. Whatever. But this film indicates that she has been gone from Japan for some time for no reason that's adequately explained. The film doesn't really attempt to explain why she was gone, only that she was really gone. Maybe that's a translation thing, but I never picked up anything why she's gone. Now, why does she return to Japan? Because she wants to use Fuka and Katsumi's ninja status and their abilities to form this idol group to gain popularity, I guess? To gain money or power? I don't understand what her plan is here, because this is what kind of bothers me about her character. We have a woman who's been absent from her children's life for some time now, comes out of the blue, and basically wants to exploit her daughter and her niece for either power, money, whatever. And to me, that's kind of reprehensible as a motherly character. Now, I'm sure the series will talk about some good reason on why she left, but that's not in the film, so it's all speculation. So I'm not going to sit here and say that she's a good mother, but I will lean towards saying that she's a bad mother for basically what she's doing in this film. Because she comes back, turns them into a group, and then wants to trademark the other characters, or wants to trademark Ninninger and not have the boys involved to protect their brand. So much so that she has them in a contest where they fight each other, even they're giant robots, which could result in death and serious collateral damage. Because, I'm going to point this out right now. It's one thing if you're in the Lion Hollow in the city trying to destroy the monster and a couple billions get destroyed. I get that. That happens. But it's a completely different thing when you're having a little reality show contest and you're having battles between siblings, which I believe the whole reality show angle leading to a big disaster was the whole impetus for the Civil War comic series. And look how well that turned out. But she's exploiting her daughter and niece for all this stuff. My thought was she was maybe one of the bad guys in disguise, or she had some nefarious plan that she was going to turn out to be the bad guy, because everything she was doing seemed to be antithetical to what the Ninninger were actually doing. That they weren't being Ninninger. That yes, the enemy's gone, but here's the thing, folks. They still live in the Super Sentai universe, meaning that there are alien invasions and demons and transdimensional aliens, and by the time this happens, the 42nd Sentai, and whoever the hell they're fighting, are still out there, and they all do occupy Tokyo, believe it or not. And instead of using their powers for good to benefit the world, because, when you have the ability to conjure a bathhouse out of nothing, and you can create water out of nothing, maybe since you're done fighting the bad guy, you can use your powers for good somehow. Like, I don't know, bring water to a needy country that needs it. Maybe go ahead and use your powers of conjuring stuff out of nothing into creating food and crops and medical supplies. This I'm sure is in the realm of possibility that they can do this, don't you think? If they can conjure bathhouses, and also They can conjure gold out of thin air. We had an entire episode in Gokaiger based on the idea that there was a golden tree that produced golden fruit that kept this entire family wealthy. So why can't we actually have it where they can conjure up as much gold as they want to, I don't know, help the world economy, to send it to other countries for aid and relief, or maybe help things in their own country. None of these things are explored. Rather, let's create a girl pop idol group, come up with these frilly pink and white costumes. For what ends, again, I do not know, because the film doesn't really bother to explain what the whole damn purpose of this is. So again, the mother's actions are rather reprehensible in what she is doing for her daughter and her niece here. Now, ultimately, here's what the film hinges on. Believe it or not, after the entire series being about Takaharu, and even the Ninninger Kyoger movie being about, the Ninninger Tokyuger movie, being about Takaharu, this movie is about Takaharu's sister. Yes, this film ultimately hinges on the connection between mother and daughter, the daughter finding her self-worth, her importance, what she's good at, and becoming a better person, and how her relationship with her mother works. Now, that is a great premise, and I have to give props. That is interesting what they did with the film. I have absolutely no problem with that. But what I have a problem with is just kind of how the mother is and how she is exploiting her daughter. And her daughter doesn't call her out on this. She doesn't say, we could be helping the world with our powers, but you'd rather exploit us. That's never brought into question once. What is brought into question is how how the mother views the daughter. How she does view her as just a little girl who's not as experienced and is not as powerful as, say, her brother. But again, the whole mother, what you're doing is wrong thing is never addressed in this film, and is something that is just not commented on. So I'm just, that's what really bothers me about this movie, is about this mother character. And also, let me point out too, the relationship she has with the father is very interesting, because what the film says at one point, or at least the implication is that the only reason that she married Takaharu Fuka's father is she wanted to be in a ninja family. That she's been attracted to the idea of ninjas, and that she only kind of married the father to get his ninja ability, or maybe to have children for them to have ninja abilities so she can use those in some method, in some way. We don't really know, but she basically didn't marry the father out of love, seems to be the implication. And the father is so smitten by her, and is so love-struck and I guess nostalgic for everything that has happened, that he's just kind of like, whatever, them's the breaks. He's so mellow, you think he was medicated. Which he might be, who knows. But so basically she finds this guy, knows that he has ninja powers, but at this point he doesn't, they were stolen from him, but he kind of lies about it just to get in good with her, because I think he genuinely loves her, marries into the family, produces 2 children, leaves the family for reasons that are never explained, and then comes back only to exploit one of her children. Yeah, Mother of the Year, huh? And the film wants you to believe that she's a good mother, but I don't buy it. I really, really don't. And I don't know what else to say, folks. I really don't know. I don't know what this film was really trying to accomplish. Yeah, okay, the Fuka stuff, it works. The mother stuff, it does not work in the slightest. So, yeah, I've run out of things to say, believe it or not, after almost half hour of talking. So, here's what I'm going to leave you with, just the 3 main points. The Ninninger are far too powerful for their own good, and it's bothersome. Luna is a character without agency, and we don't know who she is at all, and the mother is just a terrible person. So, what do you guys think? Have you seen the film yet? If you haven't, go to TV Nihon. They already have a good translation of the film up, so I would definitely suggest to go ahead and catch it, go ahead and watch it, and let me know what you guys think of the film. Am I right on these points? Am I wrong on these points? What do you think about the mother? Is she a sympathetic character, or is she just no good? I do definitely want to know what you guys think about this movie, so leave a comment below, let me know. But until next time, I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.